Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay,
I gotta get on my microphone to my BlackBerry.
Oh, okay.
ay, 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 ay,
My wife told me to do it. It came out even better. She wins every battle anyway, so I think you have to. Yeah. Oh, it works every single time. Trust me, you're from Fahrenheit. Well, as Seinfeld used to say, hi. Right? Right? Ah, that's out of town. That's out of town. Yeah, I tell you, I just catch yelling around the corner from me, Gemma, I just miss it, that's way out of town. You have to pay a toll.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. All right, normally that would be a loud and great Shabbat Shalom, but there is so much energy that I know that is in this room right now because it is sisterhood-led Shabbat. I want to hear it again. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Awesome, awesome. So, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome up our sisterhood president, Eileen Thrasher, for some announcements and a welcome.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name's Eileen Thrasher, and on behalf of the Bethel Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome you to our Shabbat service. If you're new to the congregation or attending as a visitor, please introduce yourself to myself and to the rabbi, and let us know how you are, and if you've enjoyed our service. It's a delight to spend this time together as we celebrate Shabbat. Just a couple announcements. Our annual fundraiser is coming up tomorrow, March 1st, so join us for a New York night of comedy. Seating is limited. And also on Thursday, there will be a lunch and learn with Rabbi Dime. Tuesday. There'll be a lunch and learn with Rabbi Dime where he will focus on Israel, and we hope to see you there. And before we move on, I just want to read one little Shabbat reading to you all. God, help us now to make this new Shabbat. After noise, we seek quiet. After crowds of indifferent strangers, we seek to touch those we love. After concentration on work and responsibility, we seek freedom to meditate, to listen to our inward selves. We open our eyes to the hidden beauties and the infinite possibilities in the world you are creating. We break open the gates of reservoirs of goodness and kindness in ourselves and in others. We reach toward one holy, perfect moment of Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
And now, for the lighting of the candles and the Kiddush, I would like to invite Bobby Adler. This is the board of Sisterhood. Bobby Adler, Rosa Glico, Donna Berger, Marsha Cohen, Vicki Kennedy, Melanie Nasberg, and Aaron Wolf. And also, for the leading of the candle blessings, I'd like to invite Bethel Sisterhood singers to lead the singing. And so for those that are coming up to light, and then those that will be singing, Bethel Sisterhood singers is Bobby Adler, Carolyn Boyles, Barbara Hood, and Paula Klausner. And now we turn to page 123, 123, for the blessing over the wine for the Kiddush. 1, 2, 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsha, v'ahava uvratzon, hinhilanu, zikaron lamase, v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah, lemikrohe kodesh, Zecher letziat Mitzrayim, Kifanu v'karta, v'yatanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, v'yahava uvratzon, Hinhaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim, everyone. And now we continue on in our prayer books on page 124, 124. I'd like to invite up. Oh, we're actually passing the microphone around. This is awesome. So, thank you very much. This will be read by Joy Schultz, our president, and Karen Retner, one of our co-presidents, co-vice presidents.
We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. A beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves.
Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer.
And now at the bottom of page 124, Grace Belkin and Paula Klausner.
May the door of the sanctuary be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this sanctuary be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity.
May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life.
Amen. And now we turn to page 127 at the top. And I'd like to invite Hetty Kaufman and Stacy Juisak to lead us.
There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace.
And now on page 126, 126, I'd like to invite Debbie Thornblum to read.
I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services. But I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illuminate all of us and to bring that vision to life.
And now let us all turn together to page 128, 128, and to join together in song Hine Matov. How good and pleasant it is that brothers and sisters and all of us can dwell together and observe Shabbat and celebrate Shabbat together. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. It really is wonderful to be able to observe Shabbat together with all of you. And as we continue our service on page 142 with the Beth El Sisterhood Singers, and I fondly refer to them as Bess. So, like the name, Beth El Sisterhood Singers, B-E-S-S, you will hear me call Bess to be leading us in song over the course of the service. So, on page 142, 142, Bess will lead us in Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ochem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei
Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Le'Shalom, Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zechem L'Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch.
And now we turn to page 142, 146. We turn from 142 to page 146 for the Baruch Hu, where the Bethel Sisterhood singers, where Bess will lead us in the Baruch Hu. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Et Adonai Hamevorah Baruch Adonai Hamevorah
Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated. And now we turn to page 148, 148. I'd like to invite Elaine Wright to lead us.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai Ma'ariv Aravim. And now we turn to page 150, 150. And I would like to invite Amy Wolfson to lead us.
Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
And now we turn to page 152, 152, where Bess will lead us in the Shema. I invite you to rise in body or spirit.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated. The Ve'ahavta, page 154, 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום בלבך ושנתם לך ודברתם בם ושיבחך ומלאכתך הדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך והיו תותפות בין עיניך וכתבתם Becha Uvisharecha Leman Tizkeru V'asitem et kol mitzvotai V'tem Kedoshim Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher Hotzeti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
And now we turn to page 159, 159, and Rosa Glico is going to lead us.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of Shalom.
And now we look back to page 158, 158, for Michamocha.
Michamocha Elim Adonai, Michamocha.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. And now we turn to page 160, 160, and I'd like to invite my mom, Raina Dime, and my Aunt Paula to lead us in the reading on page 160.
Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, for your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going out to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hapores Sukat Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim. And having just come back from Israel, and I'll talk a little bit about that more later on this evening and certainly more in the next days and weeks, it is a wonderful thing to be praying Hashkivenu and to just ask God to help us build that Sukat Shlomecha, that shelter of peace. And so we turn now to page 162, 162, for V'shamru, for the reminder of our covenant with God and observing the Shabbat. And now we turn to page 165, 165. I'd like to invite Jody Doogie to read for us.
Pray as if everything depended on God, and act as everything depended on you. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirit, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city, but prayer can water our arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. In an envelope marked personal, God addressed me a letter. In an envelope marked personal, I have given my answer.
And so let us turn to page 164 and rise in body or spirit for our Amidah, our standing prayer, and we will have some time for that personal prayer, that personal reflection later on in the service. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memid Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. Now we turn to page 175, 175. I'd like to invite Marcia Cohen and June Van to lead us.
You are with us in our prayer and our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closest to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch
atah Adonai, she'ocha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And now we turn to page 177, 177. I'd like to invite Aaron Wolf to lead us.
When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth.
Baruch
God.
atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. And now, even keeping in mind all of these things that we have to be grateful for, all the blessings in our lives, we are still aware, and still it is in our midst, it is in our minds that we are praying for peace. And so we turn to page 178, 178. Please join with me in Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And now we turn to page 179, 179. I'd like to invite Jody Leeser to lead us.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamarayech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
And now, our thoughts, having prayed for peace, turn to thoughts of healing. And so, in a few moments, we're going to have the Mishaberach. And in preparation for that, I'd like to invite up Tammy Schumer, who will open the ark when it's time. And so we are thinking of those at Bethel and our Bethel family that are in need of healing, whether it is healing of mind or of body or of spirit. The congregation is thinking of Jim DeArmond, Pearl Levin, Carol Friedman, Carol Wallace, Carol Solomon, June Van, Rabbi Michael Matchison, Sherry Chait, Larry Michaelov, Antoinette Worrell, Linda Chambliss, Judge Frank Caprio, Fran Marcus, Howard Silvers, Paige Hedrick, Vanessa Warner, Jaime Klinger, Jane Stewart, Kathy Weiner, Rob Moreland, Ben Beltran, David Adler, Jeff Mayer, Linda Margulis, Sadie Charlotte Schwartz, Dean Fiandaka, Sophie Kruski, Arthur Aglico, Rose Aglico, Carolyn Boyles, David Charles, Karen Toker, Rabbi Ben Yehuda, Ken Friedman, Don D'Amelia, Jackie Gould, all Israelis still being held hostage, all Israeli soldiers injured in this war, and all civilians injured in any war. If there's anyone here that has a name of someone that you would like to share with the community for whom you are praying for healing, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We hold all their names together as a community. I'd like to invite up Tammy Schumer to open the ark for us. I invite us to rise in body or spirit when the ark is opened. And I'd like to invite us to turn to page 371, 371, as the Bethel Sisterhood singers lead us in the Mishaberach. 371.
Blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us all to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, family, and community. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. Thank you. And now I invite you to take a few moments for the prayers of your heart, for silent meditation. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. And now we turn to page 181, 181. I would like to invite Nancy Rubenstein.
We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness, where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service.
And now we turn to page 491. I'd like to invite Karen Friedman, Stacy May, and Sybil Michalov to lead us.
Before the gate has been closed, before the last question is posed, before I am transposed, before the weeds fill the gardens, before there are no pardons, before the concrete hardens, before all the flute holes are covered, before things are locked in the cupboard, before the rules are discovered, before the conclusion is planned, before the closing of God's hand, before we have nowhere to stand. Bless us with peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, v'shalom. And now, I'd like to invite up for giving our Devar Torah, Tracy Aquila.
Good evening, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Tracy Aquila, and I'm honored to give the Devar Torah for our Sisterhood Shabbat this evening. This week's Torah portion is around the story of the building of the tabernacle, the portable sanctuary, which the Jews carried during the 40 years of wandering to the Promised Land. Everyone brought their gifts to Rumah to help in the building of this place, which would be God's home. They brought gold, silver, and copper, colored yarns, fine linen, animal skins, acacia wood, olive oils, lapis, and other precious stones. And God said, "Let them make for me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them." This is an important moment as God says that I may dwell among them. Among them. Think about this. After the thunder and lightning of Mount Sinai, when the people were held at a distance, lest they'd come too close to divine presence, God invites them to build a more intimate space where God can dwell among them as they continue their journey through the wilderness. In order to obtain the materials for all the Mishkan, or portable sanctuary, God says to Moses in Parshat Terumah, "Tell the Israelite people to bring me gifts. You shall accept gifts from every person whose heart so moves him." The medieval commentator Rashbam notes that the use of the word teruma, or gift, implies that it's something each person is set aside from their own belongings. But as much as these gifts are supposed to come from the heart, it's more than just the thought that counts. God is very specific about what is required. There are gifts you shall accept, God says, gold and silver and copper, blue and purple and crimson yarns, fine linen and goat's hair, tanned ram skins, dolphin skins, and acacia wood. One of these things is not like the others: yarn, ram skins, wood, incense. All these make sense. But dolphin skins? Where on the earth are the Israelites supposed to find dolphin skins in the middle of a desert? Upon receiving the list of materials, I imagine the Israelites saying, okay, we're all good on the copper, goat's hair, but if they think we're hunting for a rainbow unicorn, you've got to be kidding. But remember, the gifts are supposed to be from their own belongings. They aren't supposed to go hunt for that unicorn. They're being told they already have it. All they have to do is offer it up. I don't know about any of you. God believed that the Israelites had these gifts in their possession already. Imagine walking around with a dolphin. But if you were my mother, you had that dolphin. True story. She kept every single receipt. I mean every receipt, because I can hear her tonight in my head say, you never know. She had the paperwork for the bedrooms that her and my father bought in 1970 in a green little metal box, along with the first mortgage of the house. But enough about my mom. But God was very specific that the Jews already possessed these gifts, even the dolphin skin, because these gifts were from the heart and the Jews already possessed them. The idea was not to go to local Winn-Dixie and pick it up. This is exactly how Rabbi Erwin Keller pictures the Israelites in the desert. He imagined these poor children of Israel carrying with them not only obviously precious items, but also odd and awkward items, which at the time they were packed out with no particular use. Hidden gifts schlepped through the wilderness, or not quite gifts, but gifts, tchotchkes, awaiting the chance to become holy regalia. As I think of this Sisterhood Shabbat and look around at all of you, we all have gifts. Some of us have talent in music or art or a knack for spreadsheets. These gifts, writes Keller, are our gold and silver. But remember, the Mishkan was not only built out of gold and silver. There's also acacia wood, unicorn skins that have been lugged around awaiting the opportunity to be useful. We can't always identify our gifts on our own. We are so used to defining ourselves by our particular roles as lawyers, accountants, parents, or caregivers, that we might not know that we also carry around gifts of leadership, listening, or creativity. Just as we cannot perceive the rainbow contained within a ray of light until it is refracted through a prism, sometimes we can only identify our gifts when they're reflected back to us through another's eyes. Let me share with you a personal example. When I was in high school, and even in my early years of college, I barely could get up in front of a room and give a speech. Just last week, I stood on a stage in front of almost 1,000 people, coworkers and business partners, and spoke, and tonight here I am. As I got older, I learned to embrace my fear and have fun with it. To identify our most precious hidden gifts, we need to spend some time face-to-face with our community, our family and friends, to listen deeply and with curiosity, open to the possibility we will find a unicorn hiding in the pocket of the person sitting across from us. And when we find one, to reflect back what we see, because nothing feels better than someone else pointing out a gift that you didn't know you had. This ultimately is the recipe for building a community, to see one another and allow ourselves to be seen. In this way, we can help one another find the hidden gifts we each hold, and then share them with open and generous hearts, allowing God's presence to shine through and fill the space between us. And taking it one step further, as females, we need to recognize that in each other and hold each other up. Too many times we are quick to worry about everyone around us and fail to see how special we are to our community, from school to work to the second row. I am also the executive sponsor of the Women's Development Network at Winn-Dixie. Who would have thought? And kicking off Women's History Month, I did a lot of TED Talk watching for some projects I have going on this month. One hit home with me that I would like to share with you as I close my Devar Torah. Sorry about that. When we really think and see ourselves with our heart and our mind and our soul, we are unstoppable. I ask you here this evening, what are your gifts? Each of us has some special talent or gift that is a unique strength. No matter how special other people may seem, you're able to bring your unique perspective and insight and talents in a combination that no one else can reproduce. In the words of the Mishnah, there is no one who doesn't have their hour and nothing which does not have its place. Each of us, in our own ways, can add something irreplaceable to the luxurious weave of humanity. Every individual person, like each glistening thread, makes the cloth that much more shimmering and durable. No one can replace you. Be confident through looking at yourself and each other, heart, mind, and soul. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. Vicky. It's muted. I just unmuted it for you. Unmuted it. Okay. That was wonderful. Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to everyone here who's been participating in the service. Sisterhood, you are awesome. And it has been great to be able to share the Bima, share the congregation with all of you, and to hear so many voices, helping to lead services. So thank you all. And I just want to share a couple words about my recent trip to Israel, and to let you know that I'll be speaking about it more as the days and weeks go on. Because it was my honor to represent all of you there. It's my honor to be there. And to be honest, the trip was by turns wonderful and painful. It was painful in part due to the return of the remains of 3 members of the Bibas family, and especially due to Hamas's cruelty. The body they initially returned to us was not Shiri Bibas. Then her remains were returned the next day. And when the Israeli officials examined the bodies, they found some more information about how and when they died. Their burial happened the day that I left Israel, this last Wednesday. That was just part of the pain that Israelis have experienced over the last year and a half, over the last 500 plus days. But also, I bring you news of how wonderful things are there. It's not just only what we see in the news in the US. I stayed there with the group that I was on, with a community trip, and saw so many things, talked to so many people. We were there in Jerusalem the night before Shabbat, and there was a group of us that went to Machane Yehuda, the main shuk, the main market in Jerusalem, and that place was hopping. Everyone was shopping and getting all the things they needed for Shabbat, crowded throngs of people doing their last-minute Shabbat prep. And I stayed afterwards for a few days, and one of the things that I got to enjoy was going to a mall close to Tel Aviv, where I met with the family friend, Sandy Ashri. And this place reminded me of Town Center, St. John's Town Center, a month before Christmas. You could not get a seat at the table in the restaurant we were going to sit at. We had to wait to get a place. The place was really full, really packed of people who were smiling, going about their lives, and filled with that joie de vivre, that joy and purpose in being here. People were laughing and smiling at a comedy show. And so once again, I say it was my honor to go and be able to represent all of you and to be able to come back. And it is my honor and my pleasure to be back. And so I wish for all of us this Shabbat that we can laugh and smile like our cousins in Israel, lifted up by their indomitable spirits. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And now we turn to the Aleinu on page 586. I'd like to invite up Donna Berger to open the ark for us. And as Donna opens the ark, I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer bereshit, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. I'd like to invite you to remain standing in body or spirit, because we're going to do Hatikva next. That's on page 678. 678. And if I could ask for David Penna and Liam Wolfson's help in holding up the flag, the Israeli flag, if you want to come on up, that would be awesome. We're on page 678. 678. And I'd like to invite the Bethel Sisterhood Singers to lead us in Hatikva, Israel's national anthem.
Sophia, Hod lo avda tikvatenu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liodam chofshi be'asenu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim. Liodam chofshi be'arsenu, Eretz Zion Yerushalayim.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. You may be seated. Sorry about that. And now we turn to our insert, and I'd like to invite all the women to join together in the Women of Valor. Starting on 3. 1, 2, 3.
A woman of valor hard to find. She is more precious than rubies. Her circle cast with friendship bead, full of love and graceful ease. She is a woman of valor. She opens her hands to the poor. She does not fear the other. Extends her heart to those in need. Encourages her friends to succeed. She is a woman of valor. Credit is hers for the fruit of her labors. Optimism is her might. Surrenders to God, she does not despair. knows how to wrap you in her care. She is a woman of valor. Trust in her with your secret fears. Know that she'll hold you gently. When she speaks, wisdom spread around. The depth of compassion so profound. She is a woman of valor. She counts herself vital in the world and revels in its wonders. In others she sees the divine, holds on dearly to her lifeline. She is a woman of valor. Praise her, love her, hold her with your eyes. Be the safety that she needs to unlock all that she can be, and let her goodness rise.
And if I could just say, I hope every woman in this room recognizes herself in this. Because this is you.
Thank you. And thank all of you for being women of valor. There are stars up above, so far away that we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we have loved. Their light keeps shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. The congregation tonight is remembering those whom we have lost within the last year. Gregory Wayne Berger, David Dunn, Barry Schoenfeld, Milton Margulis, David Shaknovsky, David Friedman, David Cohen, Mike Hyman, Alice Macaulay Schumer, Carol Mandel, Helen Gerber, Jerry Chait, Shirley Mendelson, and Bryce Rutan. And we're remembering those who passed away at this time in years past. Myrna Algus, Lillian Cohen, Zeal Fisher, Jane B. Hirsch, Saul Hirsch, Kenneth Buzzy Klausner, Robert Lieberman, Irving Purcell, Morris Retner, Madeline Schoen, Ethel Schulman, Harry Shaw, Lillian Smallin, Rose Etta Snyder, and Jacob Teich. If there is anyone that has a name that they would like to share with the community of someone that you have lost, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We hold all their names together as a community. I invite us to turn to page 598, 598, and to rise in body or spirit for the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens bring comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. And now, to lead us in a closing song, I'd like to invite the Bethel Sisterhood Singers to lead us in Lechi Lach. On page 645, 645.
Lechi Lach, to a land that I will show you, Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. Lechilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilach, lechilach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechilach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat hayim, l'simchat hayim, l'simchat hayim, lechilach.
Again, it is a pleasure to share the microphones, to share leading services with Sisterhood. You all did a great job, and again, it is wonderful to have you all in Sisterhood, guests and Bethel members alike, and it was wonderful to be able to pray with all of you this evening. So we turn to page 603, and I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the priestly benediction. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Shabbat shalom, everyone.